One down! You like the taste of that? Start talking!
It's RantDay today. Or Monday. Depends on how you see it, I guess. Anyway, this day is a day that is today where the resting days end for a lot of people, and it's back to the weekdays of a harsh reality. And what better way to start that day is there than with the passionate RantDay to get that extra little RantDay spirit that you need to pop back into the days of reality. This show is highly opinion-based and made in order to talk about and get focused on things that I believe are heading in the wrong direction, or just simply are wrong. I will base my opinions on things I've heard, read, or seen throughout my life as a gamer. If a fact is wrong, I apologize in advance. Today's subject? Free to play. Okay, so I've been around for a huge amount of changes for the gaming industry. I was born in 1989, so I grew up in the 90s, and that's when I believe gaming started to get a foothold in a totally different way than before. We owe our freedom of games today to the, well, I'm gonna call it grandfather games and consoles like Pong and the Commodore 64. This was of course way earlier than when I was born, but after the first early and huge success that was those so-called grandfathers, the gaming industry thought it was invincible. Companies started to basically shit out games to make money, and yes, shit out games is a fitting term since for a time the games that were produced then were, well, shit. And the industry took a huge financial hit, and people thought that maybe it was just a fluke that Pong and other successful games of that era were so popular and that gaming was just a quickly dying trend. But lucky enough for us, they were wrong. Soon we had a lot of good games and consoles that became a bigger and bigger success. And when something grows and a concept is successful, people usually use that opportunity to jump on the bandwagon, create something new and cool, earn some cash, get some recognition, and sometimes they start trends and concepts that are more annoying than a good thing for the industry as a whole. For a long time there was only one concept that was used when it came to buying a game. You bought the game you wanted from a store, got a CD or a cartridge containing the game that you bought, and you had to insert the following into the device. Be it a computer or any sort of console, this is how it worked, and the good thing about this is that you paid one price and then you got all the containing content for that price with eventual purchases for expansions. Yes, back then it was called expansions and not DLCs, and this is actually a really good concept that adds extra content and works really well today even, and prolongs the enjoyment of a game. So I'm all for expansions and DLCs, except for day one DLCs. I mean, that's just horrible. Horrible. But with the inevitable future of the internet becoming faster and faster and more stable and reliable, the CDs for computer have become something that few actually purchase and utilize. I mean, I don't even have a DVD or CD reader in my computer anymore, and even for consoles, the DVDs, Blu-ray discs and cartridges is becoming less and less of a need. Now with this big growth of the internet, something new was born. A concept that today is still fairly new history-wise, and it's called free-to-play. The concept of free-to-play originated around the year 2000. One example of an early free-to-play game is RuneScape, which I think still to this day has a pretty huge following. This game was and is browser-based, and a lot of free-to-play games that launched back then were so as well. All of them were free from any initial purchase cost, and all you had to do was to make an account to get access to the respective title. But of course, the developers of those games wanted and needed to get some extra cash to be able to keep the game alive, grow the popularity of it, and so on and so on. So most of the free-to-play games back then had a lot of features and content that could only be unlocked by donators and or the use of microtransactions. This allowed these games to get huge player bases because of it being free, and still the developers had the option to gain some cash from it. And since this was so successful, it's not weird that it was implemented elsewhere and on other platforms. Today on Steam we have a lot of games that are free to play, and some that do really well because of it. Probably much better than they ever would have if they were a pay-to-play game. So for that reason I believe the free-to-play concept fills a hole in the gaming market. Now some game developers do free-to-play better than others. That is for sure. One example of a company who probably do the whole free-to-play concept in one of the best ways possible are the company behind Dota 2. Valve. Why? Because in Dota 2 you only have to pay for skins, nothing that affects gameplay. The problem and controversy around free-to-play for me is that with models like the one that League of Legends use, or games that use similar types of feature unlock systems, is that after a while you have probably paid so much more for that so-called free-to-play game to unlock characters and other playable features than you would for a normal pay-to-play game. This is due to you having to pay small microtransactions to unlock those features that you just can't wait for to be able to enjoy the game a little bit more than you already do to get access to all the content and features that the game has. Most of the time though, these games have in-game currency that you need to grind for a couple of hours to obtain to unlock some of the features that you could unlock in a second with the real cash. Some could argue that this system prolongs the longevity of the game, and having a free option is a really good thing for some people that would not be able to play it otherwise. And here, it sort of becomes a matter of opinion, because I, for one, do believe that time is money. And grinding for 4 hours to unlock one new feature is the same for me as just paying to unlock it instantaneously. Thus you have to pay much more money and time for a free-to-play title in the long run than you would ever pay for a pay-to-play title. And this applies even if you don't agree with me about time being money. This is why I think the normal old-school pay-to-play model is far superior to what free-to-play ever could aim out to be. Today we see a couple of titles like CSGO that are pay-to-play and still have microtransactions, but for skins, not features, and this is totally fine. Because here you don't have to pay to unlock game content, only to customize the look of it. Now, a lot of other games have horrible things that you can unlock by using microtransactions. One example is for the newly early access released H1Z1. While I sort of love the game for what it offers at its core, there's still the horrendous care package drop which you can buy with real money. This package may contain weapons and gear that are superior to what you might find in-game. The developer's defense to the critique of this feature is that they describe it as you buying an event, since almost anyone can try to snipe the care package from you. Still, this creates a way for people to buy gear that makes someone, even if it's not you, superior to other people in the game due to better gear. And there should never be a way in any game for you to buy a way to get better stuff than the people who can't or won't waste money on such nonsense. Even games that have XP boosts that you can buy is something that I really can't say I approve of, because it does not give all who play it an even and fair playing field. Because of features like the care package in H1Z1, we as gamers have developed the term pay to win. It has become more and more a term that can be interpreted in different ways by the beholder, since there are so many different features and additional content that can be unlocked in free-to-play titles with use of microtransactions. But even if you think a feature that can be bought is not pay to win, like XP boosts for example, purchasable features and content does not give everyone who plays the game an even playing field, and that is what is important. And that is why I don't like and will never like the concept of free-to-play over pay-to-play in any other fashion than if the microtransactions is only related to skins and cosmetic features. Another problem with free-to-play models is the potential of hackers and cheating. Since there's no initial cost to the game, people can easily just make new accounts if they're banned or kicked from the game. Even if the game has solutions such as IP bans, this is really easy to work around if you just have the know-how. Having an initial purchase cost removes some of the potential douchebags who only use the game to troll or hack and try to make the experience worse for others. The only reason why I see the free-to-play model actually even should exist is so that people that can't or simply just won't spend money on games have a free option to feed their gaming need, and maybe, just maybe, to actually be able to keep some games alive that would not survive otherwise. So remember, if you see a game on the horizon that looks really cool and that you want to play, if they say it's going to be or already is free to play, don't get your hopes up too much and be really cautious. In the end, you might have to spend more money than you ever would on any other pay-to-play title, and then it's not so free to play anymore, is it? If you have more examples of free-to-play or pay-to-win gone wrong, then please share those in the comment section below. I would be happy to know what you think about this subject and if you agree or disagree with me or simply just want to discuss the topic further. Also, if you have more suggestions about what I should rant about next, then please let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, until next time guys, bye.